Welcome back to another episode of Expat on Two Wheels, and today I'm going to talk about river crossings and what not to do from my abundance of experience of doing them badly. My first tip that I want to tell you is basically every time something has gone wrong for me, it's because I chose a bad line.
My line choice was a bit off and my front tire ran over a big rock that I couldn't see.
So tip number one is to choose a good line. And that can be really tricky. One of the things is vision. So one of the advantages you have when you're going over rocks on dry land is that you can pick your line, you can see every rock, and you know exactly how to hit it, and you can be ready for when the bike is going to, go to the side, bounce this way and bounce that way, and you can adjust for it. And you don't really realize how much you're using your eyes and your vision until the rocks are obscured by water. Muddy water particularly is really difficult. If you can't see anything under the water, it is quite scary. One of the things that you'll be tempted by is you'll see a line that's more shallow, but it has a lot of big rocks, and you might see another line that's deeper and is more smooth. And you definitely don't want to go into a hole. Avoid holes because those go badly. But if you have a smooth line that's a little deeper, usually that's the better choice than the rocky line that's more shallow, because falling over is really not good. If it's deep and rocky, well, you're in for a fun ride, quite a fun ride. Tip number two is use just the right amount of momentum. I see new riders charge in really fast because they're scared of getting caught in the middle. The trouble with that is if your front tire hits the wrong rock and deflects, you can either fall down much quicker or you can get really offline. If you don't fall down, maybe you keep your balance, you can get really offline and head off in the wrong direction, and that can be quite sketchy. I try to pick straight lines and then enter slowly, but power on and kind of have that burst, that little zap right as I go into the water to carry me on through. And that just using that right amount of momentum is good. This is something that you'll see across off-road motorcycle stuff. Choosing the right amount of momentum and using that little zap, it will really take you over a lot of stuff. The third one is to keep your revs up.
This is the hardest and scariest river crossing, and the only one I got off and walked beside the bike. It's basically on a waterfall, and it's deep and the rocks are big under the water. The water is so high on the bike it's sputtering and doesn't want to run, so I have to keep the revs up.
So what you'll find is a comfortable RPM for most things on land will be quite low once you get into the water. There's a few reasons for this. One, the water offers quite a bit of resistance that you don't realize. So when you're trying to power through something, you'll find that there's a lot holding the bike back. I mean, if you've ever tried to run in the water, as a kid, you're playing in the pool and you try and run in the water. It's really, really hard. And the bike has to work much, much harder. You'll feel like you're just half your horsepower. And as the water gets deeper, that becomes more of a factor. Another thing is wet coils do not like to fire. And you'll get a misfire sometimes as water splashes onto your coil. And if you're not ready for that and you're not keeping the revs up, it'll stall out. And dragging a dead bike out is really not fun. I've had to do it a few times. It's not something that you really want to do. The third reason is the temperature drops rapidly. So as you go into the water, your temperatures are many times quite high. Maybe you've been going over rocks, maybe you've been going slowly in technical terrain, and maybe your coolant temperatures are 80 or 100 degrees. And very rapidly it will cool down below 50 or 60 degrees. And when that happens, if you have a carbureted bike, and some of the rudimentary fuel-injected bikes too will start to run really badly. They'll want choke. And if I'm going to restart the bike in the water, I usually have to pull choke, even if the bike was really warm when I went in. So that's one thing that you need to be aware of. The fourth tip is don't be afraid to walk it. So if you're not sure of the depth of the water, get your feet wet. You know, it's uncomfortable, but once your feet are wet, it's not so bad anymore. It can save you from a drowned bike. It's not cool. It's not sexy to go walk through the water and test the depth. But if it saves you dragging a dead bike out, then it was worth it to do that. Also, it's fine to walk beside the bike. If the rocks are really big, and I might end up in a high center position where the back tire is really high and I can't reach the ground under the water, I found that it's really useful to get off of the bike and walk beside it. Now, if it's a smooth bottom, and it's something that I can use momentum with, I would rather be on the bike because I'm able to move a lot faster on the bike. I'm able to use that momentum that I said in number 2. So it depends on the situation, depends on how confident I feel, but sometimes I will step off the bike. Tip number 5, know how to clear your bike of water. I made another video, I'll put that in the pop out right up here, and it shows you step by step how to clear the engine of water. Unfortunately, I've had to do it too many times because I keep on falling over in the water because I do quite technical riverbeds. And it doesn't really hurt the bike if you clear it correctly and you change the oil afterward. It's fine. It doesn't damage the bike. But there have been some guys who, especially on bigger adventure bikes recently, who ended up in the water and they couldn't clear the water out. And I know adventure bikes are a whole nother animal. Sometimes you have to take apart many things to get to the spark plugs, and that's unfortunate. If that's the case, if you cannot clear your engine of water in the riverbed, then you should be extremely cautious, because these particular guys ended up having to get trucks to come and get them out. Sometimes they had to have their friends drag the bike for some distance before they were able to get a vehicle there, load it onto the vehicle, and take it back to the shop. The places that I ride would be an extreme hassle. When you're 15 kilometers of riverbed away from a place where a truck can get to, that's no fun at all, and it can be quite expensive to move your bike out. So make sure that you have the right tools and know how to clear your engine of water before you get in that position and you have to do it. So basically, if you can remove the exhaust and you know where the air box is, you can pull out the air filter and you can pull out the spark plug, then you'll be able to do it, no problem. So I hope these have helped you. If you have any more questions or you want any more videos like this, please comment below, like and subscribe, and join us again next time on Expat on Two Wheels.